Celine was elated to be finally having her own baby. As her delivery date came closer, she kept away from anything that could hurt her and the baby. Not long after, before she was due, she had to be rushed to the hospital because she was in so much pain on getting there. The doctor made a shocking discovery that had him calling the cops. What has the doctor found? Make sure to stay until the end and hit the like button. Celine's story started when she left college, and this was the same time she met her husband Joe. Joe was a postgraduate student rounding off his program. For them, it was love at first sight. They had known from the beginning of their relationship that they would spend the rest of their lives together. After a few years of courtship, Joe proposed and Celine accepted. The couple was happy to be married, and they both decided that they were going to wait a year before trying for kids. Their law waxed stronger, and in the blink of an eye they had already spent a year together. Just as they had planned, they began to try for kids. Months of disappointment turned into a year, and soon, they had spent 2 years trying for kids. The couple was left sad and decided to visit the fertility hospital to get medical views on why Celine was yet to conceive. After several tests were carried out, it was revealed that Joe had a low sperm count. The couple blamed themselves for not going to the hospital earlier, and were glad when the doctor told them Joe could take medicine to boost his sperm count. Joe took the drugs judiciously and waited for the results. After several failed attempts, it yielded positive results. Initially, when Celine noticed the symptoms, she passed it on as an illness. Because it wasn't her first time, she thought she was pregnant. She took over-the-counter drugs to stop her from being nauseated, but she didn't get any better without much optimism. So she decided to take a pregnancy test. Celine bought a pregnancy kit at the supermarket and hid it in the toilet to get it done. She couldn't bring herself to check the result for fear of being disappointed, but when she finally summoned the courage to check it out, she saw the pregnancy test was positive. Celine was beyond words, and she couldn't believe she would be a mother. But she decided to keep the results of the test to herself till she went for a proper test at the hospital. It was hard keeping the news to herself, but she did it in case the results turned out to be negative. The next day, she went to the hospital to get a proper pregnancy test, and there she found out she was 4 weeks pregnant. She hurried home to her husband to share the good news. Joe was ecstatic, and he couldn't hold back tears of joy. After celebrating, Joe told Celine that she was not to do anything throughout the pregnancy. He promised to attend to all her needs, and she was pleased. A few months later, the couple went for a scan to check the gender of their baby. The doctor revealed that their baby was a healthy boy. The couple went home beaming with joy and started counting the days until their baby's arrival. They prepared a nursery for their child and also went shopping to pick up several baby essentials. Joe ensured Celine was getting enough rest, and as the delivery date came closer, Celine put an extra effort to ensure she and her baby were safe. When the pregnancy was 28 weeks old, Celine started feeling pains, but she ruled them out as normal. But one night the pain became unbearable. Joe woke up in the middle of the night to hear Celine groaning in pain. After trying to ease her pain, he took her to the hospital to get her checked out. At the hospital, the nurses took Celine in, but they found out the baby was not due yet. She was given something for the pain, but was asked to see the doctor to understand better what was wrong. After inconclusive diagnostic tests, the doctors carried out an ultrasound. What happened next was shocking. As the doctor was carrying out the ultrasound, he made a discovery that surprised him so much he had to call the police. Before the police arrived, he called Joe aside to ask him questions about his wife's upbringing without mentioning what he had found. Joe answered the questions to the best of his ability, but the doctor was not satisfied with Joe's responses, so he decided to ask Celine. Celine was oblivious to the fact that the doctor had found something peculiar in her body, so when the doctor came to ask her questions relating to her background, she answered without holding back any details. After some time, the police arrived. When the doctor told him what he had found in Celine's body, they were bewildered. They had never heard or seen something like that being found in a person's body. They had only seen it in the movies. The police asked if the object in Celine's body could hurt her, but the doctor could not give an explicit response because he wasn't the one who inserted the object in Celine's body. Due to the continuous chatter between the police and the doctor, the couple suspected something was wrong. He went to the doctor and demanded to be told what was wrong with his wife and baby. The doctor apologized for keeping him out of the loop and assured them that his baby and wife were doing fine. The doctor further explained that he had invited the police over because he had found an object that might have been illegally implanted in Celine's body. On hearing this, Joe became worried. He began asking the doctor several questions about the object, but the doctor could only answer a few because he wasn't the one that implanted the object. The doctor only advised Joe to tell his wife about the object and ask her how she came about it. The object found in Celine's body was a medical chip. When Joe mentioned the chip to Celine, she was surprised. She couldn't say how the chip got there. She worried about their baby because the chip was said to have been found close to her womb, but the doctor assured her that no harm would come to her baby. Celine began thinking of where she could have gotten a medical chip implanted, but nothing came to mind. Then suddenly, she remembered she had gone for a clinical trial right after high school. Her friend had told her about the clinical trial, saying they needed people their age. The pay had been promising, and she had agreed to do it. At the venue of the trial, they were told to sign a consent form, but Celine and her friend had not read through it thoroughly before signing it. They were excited to be getting paid for using some drugs and injections before the drugs and injections were administered. They were assured that it wouldn't hurt them and won't adversely affect their health. Through their words, they had only felt a tiny pinch where the needle pricked, but the odd thing was that they had been injected in their stomachs. After being injected Celine remembered where the organizers of the clinical trial were taking them for volunteering and paying the fee that was promised. When Celine finished narrating the ordeal to the doctor, police, and her husband, they were all convinced that that was where the medical chip had been implanted. The police asked for the name of the hospital, but Celine explained that the trial had not been held at the hospital, but at a pop-up location, left with nothing to work with. The police took their leave and only urged the doctor to take out the medical chip, because there was nothing safe about an illegally planted medical chip. The doctor said he was going to remove it only after her child was born. Celine was kept at the hospital to be monitored, and a few weeks later, her baby boy was born. The successful birth of their son overjoyed the parents. When Celine was strong enough to undergo minor surgery, her stomach was cut open and the medical chip was taken out. It was immediately taken to the experts to find out what it did. The experts revealed that it wasn't harmful as it was only collecting data about Celine's health condition after taking the drug that was administered at the clinical trial. Although the drug Celine had used remained unknown, Celine was grateful that the medical chip had not caused any harm despite being in her body for years. So what do you think about volunteering for medical trials? See you next time.